Hey, what up, guys? Rhett Weaver here from Lifetime Home Loans. Want to talk to you guys, obviously, before you head out this next week for Labor Day. Just so you guys kind of have in your heads what's going on really quick here. September 6th, that's what I want you guys to put on your calendar. It's going to be the BLS jobs report. The reason I want you to put it on your calendar is because that jobs report is going to be the full factor of what the feds are going to do on September 18th. That's the next date of the announcement on how much really they're going to cut rates by. All the experts are really saying that the rate cut is going to be 25 basis points. But that September 6th job report, if the unemployment rate continues to rise, if there's not as many jobs in America as they're claiming they're supposed to be, they could see that cut rate could go to 50 basis points. Now, guys, one thing that I really want to push on you guys is this is a lot of demand that's been sitting on the sideline. I guess what I'm trying to say here is there's a lot of people that are understanding that the news is starting to turn into a positive direction. For the last 18 months to 24 months, it's been so negative on rates rising. The unemployment rate wasn't very high. There was way more jobs than ever before. And the market is just crazy. And that just goes back, guys, to January, February, and March. In March, if you guys remember, all of us were sitting there talking about that rate cuts were off the table for the rest of the year. So just in a couple months, just in 3, 4, 5 months, the total propaganda or the news has completely shifted. And now we're sitting here talking about rate cuts in September, could potentially be 50 basis points. They're talking about obviously cutting at least 25 basis points every meeting from here on out in order to make sure that we stay out of a recession. So September 6th is a jobs report, is the Fed announcement. Those are the two dates you need to understand. And this is what we need to really prep buyers and sellers for, is how much pent-up demand is out there and what is going to happen once the positive news starts that interest rates are going lower. I think the floodgates are going to open up and this is going to start to be bonkers here very shortly. So let's be ready for that. One thing that I do want to talk about is June home prices as far as appreciation has come out. Guys, one thing that I want to point out is even with high rates and everything that's gone on, we just have a lack of supply. So the really just Case-Shiller. So this is kind of the gold standard for the government nationwide on what's happening in the housing market. It went up from 5.4% up to 5.9 year over year. So we're seeing this stuff increase all the time. The FHFA stuff, obviously with seasonal adjustments and non-seasonal adjustments, kind of just sitting flat there. But again, on the year over year stuff, it's continuing to rise. But in the month of June, it just kind of sat flat. So one thing that we want to sit here and talk about is, hey, buyers, and hey, sellers, it doesn't matter where rates are, home prices are still going to rise. The issue, guys, that we're going to have is as more people flood. So a couple months ago, or a couple weeks ago, I should say, we basically dove into the data on how many people if interest rates just dropped 1%, how many people are eligible to buy in the state of Utah? That's 50,000 people. So 50,000 new home buyers could come out of the woodworks if rates would honestly just go from mid sixes down to mid fives. And that's going to open up a plethora of people that are ready to go. I believe as they continue to go lower from there, it even opens up the floodgates with a lot more. So how many homes are sitting on the market consistently at one time in the state of Utah versus how many buyers could come out, within a 2-month, 3-month period? Obviously, we can sit here and debate that, but I believe that there's going to be a lot more buyers than there is sellers sitting out there, and it's going to totally flip. And here we go. And where's the money going to come from? How are they going to overpay for the properties? Where's their down payment coming from? How are they paying for closing costs? And so we're going to go shift back into that 2020, 2021 era of really just making sure that people are approved and how high do they really need to go ahead and get the property. That goes into my next phase of this. If that's what we're sitting here talking about, with all this Fed news here, one thing that we need to talk about, that obviously I had a conversation with one of our buyers this morning, which is, hey guys, why don't you buy now? The payment might be $200 or $300 higher than what you really want. But, here in the next 18 months, the Fed is projected to cut rates by 250 basis points. You're going to have that opportunity to refinance. You're going to have some more equity inside of your property. Refinancing looks really good. And then it backs you back down into that payment that you've been wanting. And so that's some of the communication that we have to start talking about. And here's why. If you're just going to go ahead and sit on the sideline, obviously we've made these slides, we've been handing them out at a few different sales meetings and stuff like that. But if you're going to go ahead and sit on the sideline, the cost of waiting for 1 year on a $550,000 house is going to cost you 20 grand. Now, let's dive into this so it's a little bit easier for you guys to understand. Property value today, 550. In 6 months, it goes up 2.39%. In 1 year, it goes up almost 5%. Those are the property values on when they're going to go ahead and purchase. Now, the one thing that's been pointed out to me is, well, Rhett, look at the really the monthly principal and interest. If you take a look at it, it's $3,300 out of the gate at 550. In 1 year, it's $3,100. You're $200 less. So I've got a lot of people saying, well, it doesn't matter. They can sit on the sideline. The issue is here is this is one I want to throw back at you is if I could tell you to make a $200 investment over 12 months, right? So $2,400 and you were going to get $20,000 in return, you would say yes to that all day long. This is what I'm talking about on buy now, refi later, because you can refinance into this payment at any time. So purchasing today, getting the $20,000 worth of equity over the next year, refinancing into a lower rate to get the payment that you desire. That is the gameplay right now. And that's what we really need to start pitching to a lot of the consumers out there on how this can create a lot of positivity for them to purchase now and obviously refinance later. So if you guys have any questions, please let us know. One thing that I do want to touch on really fast here is just what are the markets as far as what does it look like on the overview of things. When we take a look at it here, obviously everything is just super flat today. There's not a whole lot going on in the market. But as you can see, guys, honestly, since July, even before then, back in June, we've just been on this great trend here. Obviously, green means interest rates are going lower. Red means they're getting worse. But right now, we can just see that this trend is continuing. Obviously, if we can amp this thing up, I think it's just going to sit here and float for a little bit until we get to that September 6th announcement on the jobs report. And then we could really see things kind of take off and get a little bit better here. If we take a look at the 10-year Treasury, obviously what we're kind of looking at here is we want a downward trend in the 10-year Treasury to have it go lower. And again, I think we'll just sit here and bounce a little bit until. If you guys have some questions, if you guys want to talk and need some help on specific situations of people looking to purchase a home, what the cost of waiting is, feel free to reach out and appreciate it. We'll see you.